My name is Alexander Ronky. I graduated from St. Joe's in 2018. My employer is GSK, also known as GlaxoSmithKline, and my job title is Immunization Specialist. In this sales role, I partner with healthcare professionals in the Chicagoland area, with clinics as small as your mom and pop family practice, as large as some hospitals and some of the top health systems in the country. And what I do is I work with them on their vaccine needs and provide training and clinical updates to the staff. And we have really a shared goal of increasing immunization rates. That's how I get incentivized in my sales, is more shots in arms. And what's great about it is I could truly partner with these healthcare providers and kind of establish that goal that, hey, I want to help you increase your immunization rates. And it really creates a great synergy between myself and the healthcare providers to really ensure that patients are protected against vaccine preventable diseases. So I graduated with a degree in marketing, and I also had a double major in Spanish too, which is interesting. But I knew I wanted to go into a sales and marketing role, but I was really unsure of which sector I wanted to go into. I explored the oil industry, the tech, and pharma too. But I had a fraternity brother at St. Joe's who worked in the inside sales department in the GSK headquarters in Philly. And I just reached out to him and asked him a little about his role, and he referred me. So it's really a great thing when you get a referral from someone from a position. And I took that referral seriously, and I wanted to be a great candidate for him and also for the company. And I ended up getting hired and worked into the inside sales department at GSK, which started off as phone sales. And that's how a lot of sales positions start off, as cold calling, phone sales. You get really kind of thrown through the ringer and get to experience a lot of challenging times. But I networked while I was in that department. I met the right people, and I really worked my butt off to make sure I'm learning all the skills and things I needed to know. And I made it really clear to leadership and management that I wanted to go into the field. An opportunity arose for me to take a full-time role in Chicago as a field sales specialist. And I said, why not? I made it clear to management and leadership that I was open to relocating as long as it was a cool place like Chicago. So I said, why not? I jumped on the boat, and here I am 2.5 years later. I think the biggest skill I learned is to use every experience that you have, no matter what it is, no matter how small it is, to your advantage. I learned a lot of skills at St. Joe's, and I learned a lot in my short career. But like I said, when I started off doing phone sales, it wasn't easy, and I kind of felt like I was just the little bottom, or at the bottom of the totem pole, little fish in a big sea. And I was very reflective about that. And I told myself that no matter how tough it was and how kind of frustrating it could be, that I'm learning and I'm building equity in that regard. So being reflective on it and learning from your mistakes and learning from what strengths you have is really important. And I think one of the skills that I've kind of developed is just being able to realize that there's no such thing as being perfect. And I kind of take that to heart. I know that I'm not perfect, but I want to continue to improve to be a better professional. And I've learned to learn. I've learned to learn and lean in on my mistakes and what I've done well, and kind of reflect on that and be better. And then looking back at my college career, things that I may not realize at the time that I'm applying now, is just learning how to get involved in so many different things and to build character. Character is so important, and being well-rounded is important. And at St. Joe's, we were really offered a well-rounded education that wasn't just business, that wasn't just marketing. We had to learn about our natural sciences, different languages, arts. And I think that although I can't remember every specific thing I've learned in college, as I don't think anyone can, I could truly say that well-rounded education has helped me a lot in my career. Being able to be in a sales environment and to apply all the different things I've learned and all the experiences has helped me in ways that I still don't even understand. It's really important to really enrich your college career. St. Joe's is a great institution, and we're paying a good price for our education to be able to not just learn in the classroom, but to learn through all the activities and organizations that are offered at St. Joe's. Stepping out of your comfort zone is really important to be able to join things that you may not even think you're interested in. I could still remember going back to my freshman year at the activities fair, just putting my name down to a bunch of things that I didn't even know what they were, and just showing up. And what I didn't realize at the time, I was just creating equity. I was learning things, and I was stepping out of my comfort zone and meeting new people. And I think that at St. Joe's, it's really important to step out of your comfort zone and do something different than what the status quo is. You may see your friends all do the same thing just because they want to be together, but it's cool to be different. It's cool to try new things. It's cool to be a nerd and stick to your studies, and then do things that aren't just partying and going out, but enriching yourself in activities and organizations that are offered to you. I think the biggest thing I learned is that people like helping others. So not being afraid to step out of your comfort zone and ask others to do you a favor, or to ask others for advice or their experiences. It can be really daunting to be the bottom of the totem pole and entering the professional world and not knowing much. But I think using your newness as to your advantage can be really beneficial, to be vulnerable and say, hey, I'm new to this role. I want to be this. I want to learn to do this. How can I better myself? And I think what people quickly learn is that people like helping others. People like reaching out and seeing someone new to the industry and giving them some sort of guidance. And I'm about 4 or 5 years into my career, I'm learning this, and I'm seeing people reach out to me, and it's like, hey, I take a lot of I take it as a compliment that people reach out to me. And so don't be afraid to ask tough questions or to ask for a favor. It goes a long way. I think when I first started, age was a big thing. There's a lot of imposter syndrome entering the professional world. We've all experienced it. You can experience it in college. What am I doing here? I'm not good enough. I see all these seasoned professionals around me. I feel like I can't learn. And that could be a really big barrier. And I think another big barrier is perfectionism. And that's something that I've been challenged with my whole life. And some people think that being a perfectionist is a good thing. And it could really be a roadblock for a lot of people. I think perfectionism leads to procrastination. And there's no such thing as being the perfect professional, being the perfect sales rep, being the perfect student. Sometimes you have to acknowledge that I'm not perfect, that I am new to this, and use it to your advantage, and just be confident in yourself. As it's easier said than done, but that was some of the barriers that I've experienced, is being new, being young, and being a perfectionist. Obviously come from a different background. I'm Asian American. I was born in Russia. I was adopted. So this is something that was important to me when looking into a company, and it's been important in my career. So for me, diversity really means kind of understanding one another and not just tolerating differences, but rather seeking to understand those differences and ensure that people value and appreciate them. And for me, diversity it's about the representation of different groups, but it's about representation, and inclusion is about how well we value different contributions and perspectives, and how we integrate them into the workplace. And the two are separate entities, but they go hand in hand. And it's really important that we have both diversity and we have both inclusion in the workplace, because when people aren't valued, and when people's contributions they don't feel like their contributions are valued, that's when we see a lot of turnover and people leave. I mean, like I said, when people feel as though their ideas or contributions or even just their presence aren't valued or taken seriously, they'll leave. I've been at GSK for 4 years, and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon, because I truly do feel as though my contributions and my background perspectives are validated and appreciated and valued. Like I said, I come from a different background. I was born in a different country, and then I lived in Philly for a while, and I moved to Chicago in the Midwest. And I didn't think that would be much of a cultural change, but it was. And I think that being able to apply those different perspectives and backgrounds and upbringings to a new city and a new place has been beneficial to me. And people on my team have seen that I could bring a different perspective. And then for me, when I see other people bring different perspectives, knowing that diversity inclusion is valued, I value my teammates more and I value their inputs more. And it really creates such a healthy environment, especially in today's age where we are such a diverse country. So I was given a book in college. It was called Secrets of Great Rainmakers by one of my professors who taught sales and marketing. Um, this is it was a really easy read. It was about 150 pages, but it just talked about the little intricacies of sales that you may not understand if you're new to sales. It just talked about how sales is a lot more psychological than you think, and really understanding what selling is kind of understanding the human condition of needs and wants and how to turn implicit needs into explicit needs. And um, it was really a great book to learn at such a formative age when I was just entering sales. And I still read it every so often just to kind of remember what it was like entering sales and just to kind of track my memory on some of the basic things that I want to look back at. And then if you're looking to get into any sort of sales, I think researching the company is important. We all know that entering a new job, you learn everything about the company, but it's also important to learn who the clientele is at the company, who the customers are. Understanding the customers is vitally important. Who's buying the product? Who's the community this company's partnering with? And understanding the customers, like I said, is just important as understanding the company and the role itself. And when you could come to an interview and be able to tell the company that you're interviewing with what the customer looks like, it'll definitely go a long way. Looking back on it, is I may have been told it, but I may have not taken it to heart or may not have been told it in the right ways, but just don't be afraid to fail. And I know that's something that we hear a lot, but when people put it, people just say that, and it's really important to understand what that means. Like I said, I think that I struggle with perfectionism as so many people do. So it's important to not be afraid to mess up or not know the right answer. And being vulnerable is as challenging and hard it may seem to be. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to ask or to say that I'm not sure, I don't know the answer to this, or to say I messed up or I could have done this differently, because failure is part of success. It's part of growing up. It's part of life, and perfectionism is just not healthy, and it leads to many other problems down the road. So being able to reflect upon your mistakes, being able to reflect upon things that you don't know and being able to learn from them is so important. And I wish that someone at when I was 22 years old had explained that to me, what it means to fail and what it means to not be afraid to fail.